Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Kuratulain Altaf, Assistant Professor in Economics Department, Government Girls Degree College, Nawabshah. My dear student, this is my second lecture drawn from the book Microeconomic Theory, Basic Principles and Extension, which is written by Walter Nicholson. In my today's lecture, I will discuss chapter number 3, Preferences and Utility in detail. This chapter is very useful for the students who are enrolled in first year commerce, first year arts, BCom part 1 as well as in VA part 1. So let's begin today's lecture with the content of the chapter. The chapter includes the following contents. Number 1, axioms of rational choice. Number 2, utility. Number 3, traits and substitution. Number 4, a mathematical derivation for marginal utility and marginal rate of substitution. Number 5, utility function for specific preferences. Number 6, few examples of utility function. And finally, I'll incorporate the summary of the chapter. Axioms of rational choice. One way to begin an analysis of individual choice is to state a basic set of postulates, or sometimes we call axioms, that characterize rational behavior. These begin with the concept of preference. This preference relation is assumed to have three following basic properties. Number 1, completeness. Number 2, transitivity. And number 3, continuity. The first property of preference relation is the completeness. If A and B are any two situations, the individual can always specify exactly one of the following three possibilities. Number 1, A is preferred to B. Number 2, B is preferred to A. And number 3, A and B are equally attractive to an individual. Consequently, people are assumed not to be paralyzed by indecision. They completely understand and can always make up their minds about the desirability of any two alternatives. The assumptions also ruled out the possibility that an individual can report both that A is preferred to B and that B is preferred to A. The second property of rational choice is the transitivity. If an individual reports that A is preferred to B, B is preferred to C, then he or she must also report that A is preferred to C. This assumption states that the individual choices are internally consistent. The third axiom of rational choice is the continuity. If an individual reports that A is preferred to B, then situations suitably close to A must also prefer to B. This rather technical assumption is required if we wish to analyze individual responses to relatively small changes in income and prices. The purpose of this assumption is to rule out certain kinds of discontinuous preference that pose problems for a mathematical development of the theory of choice. Now, utility. What does utility means? Anything that gives satisfaction, pleasure, and usefulness to an individual is called utility. Given the assumptions of completeness, transitivity, and continuity, it is possible to show formally that people are able to rank all possible situations from the least desirable to the most. Following the terminology introduced by the 19th century political theorist Bentham in his famous book Introduction to the Principles of Morals and Legislation and called this ranking as utility. That if a person prefers situation A to situation B, we would say that utility assigned to option A, denoted by UA, exceeds the utility assigned to B. Non-uniqueness of utility measures. Utility rankings are ordinal in nature. Utility rankings are therefore like the ordinal rankings of restaurants or movies using 1, 2, 3 or 4 stars. They simply record the relative desirability of commodity bundles. As utility measures are not unique, it makes no sense to consider how much more utility is gained from A than from B. This lack of uniqueness in the assignment of utility numbers also implies that it is not possible to compare utilities of different people. For understanding this, let's take an example. If one person reports that a KFC burger provides a utility of 5 and another reports that the same KFC burger offers a utility of 100, we cannot say which individual values the KFC burger more because they could be using very different scales. Similarly, we have no way of measuring whether a move from situation A to situation B provides utility to one person or another. The ceteris paribus assumption. As the utility refers to overall satisfaction or happiness, such a measure is clearly affected by a variety of factors. A person's utility is affected not only by his or her consumption of physical commodities but also by the psychological attitude, peer group pressures, personal experiences, and general cultural environment. Although economists do have a general interest in examining such influences, a narrowing of focus is usually very necessary. Consequently, a common practice is to devote attention exclusively to choice among the quantifiable options while holding constant the other things that affect the behavior or the utility. The ceteris paribus assumptions is invoked in all economic analysis for utility maximizing choices so as to make the analysis of choice manageable within a simplified setting. Utility from consumption of goods. As an important example of the ceteris paribus assumption, consider an individual's problem of choosing at a single point in time among n consumption goods x1, x2, xn. We shall assume that the individual's ranking of these goods can be represented by a utility function of the form utility is equal to u x1 x2 till xn while keeping certain factors constant, where the x refers to the quantities of good that might be chosen and the other things notation is used as a reminder that many aspects of individual welfare are being held constant in the analysis. Quite often it is easier to write down equation number 1 as utility is equal to u x1, x2 and xn, and we name this equation as equation number 2. Or if only two goods are being considered as utility is equal to u, x and y, and we name this equation as equation number 3, where it is very clear that everything is being held constant, that is outside the frame of analysis, except the goods actually referred in the utility function. Economic goods. In these representations, the variables are taken to be goods. That is, whatever economic quantities they represent, we assume that more of any particular good during some period is preferred to less. In this picture, the convention for two-good utility function is represented. All goods bundled in the shaded area are prefer to the bundle of X star and Y star because any bundle in the shaded area provides more of at least one of the goods. By our definition of goods, the bundle of goods in the shaded area are ranked higher than X star and Y star. Similarly, bundles in the area marked worse are clearly inferior to the X star and Y star since they contain less of at least one of the goods and no more of the others. Bundles in the two areas indicated by question marks are difficult to compare to X star and Y star because they contain more of one good and less of the other. Movement in the areas involve trade-off between two goods. Indifference curves. Indifference curves, or in many dimensions an indifference surface, shows a set of consumption bundles about which the individual is indifferent. That is, the bundles all provides the same level of utility. To develop such voluntary traits, we had developed the idea of indifference curve. This figure represents the U1, that is utility, representing all the alternative combination of X and Y, for which an individual is equally well off. Remember that all arguments of the utility levels are being held constant. This person is equally happy after consuming the combination of goods X1, Y1 or the combination of X2, Y2. This curve representing that all the consumption bundles that the individual ranks gives the equal level of satisfaction, and we call this indifference curve. The slope in this figure is negative, showing that if the individual is forced to give up some of the Y, or he or she must be compensated by an additional amount of X to remain indifferent between the two bundles of the goods. The curve also drawn so that the slope increases as X increases, that is, slope start at negative infinity and increases toward the zero. This is a graphical representation of the assumptions that people become progressively less willing to trade away to y, or in order to get more of x. In mathematical terms, the absolute value of this slope diminishes as the value of x increases. Hence, we got the definition that every unit of y gives an additional unit of satisfaction to our consumer. Marginal rate of substitution. The negative of the slope of an indifference curve u1 at some point is termed as the marginal rate of substitution at that point. That is, marginal rate of substitution will be calculated by minus dy upon dx while keeping the utility constant, where the notation indicates that the slope is to be calculated along the u1 indifference curve. While marginal rate of substitution changes as x and y changes, it also reflects that individual's willingness to trade y for x. The slope of u1 and the marginal rate of substitution therefore tells us about the trade this person will voluntarily make. At some point around x1, y1, the person has a quite lot of y and is willing to trade away significant amount to get one more of the x. Here the indifference curve is therefore rather steep. This is a situation where the person has, say, many hamburgers and at y and a little to drink with them at x. This person would gladly give up few burgers to quench his or her thirst with one more of the soft drink. At x2, y2, on the other hand, the indifference curve is rather flatter. Here, this person has a quite few drinks and is willing to give up relatively few hamburgers to get another soft drink. Consequently, the marginal rate of substitution diminishes between x1, y1 as well as x2, y2. The changing slope of u1 shows how particular consumption bundle available influences the trade this person will freely make. Now the indifference curves map. There is an indifference curve passing through each point in the x and y. Each of these curves records combination of x and y from which the individual receives level of satisfaction. Movement in the northeast direction represents movement to a higher level of indifference curve. The level of satisfaction represented by these curves increases as we move towards the northeast direction. The utility of the curve u1 is less than that of the u2, which is less than that of the 3. This is because of the assumption made in this figure. More of a good is preferred to less. As we discussed earlier, there is no unique way to assign number to these utility levels. These curves only show that a combination of goods on U3 are preferred to those on the U2, which is preferred to those on the U1. Indifference curves and transitivity. Let's examine the relationship between consistent preferences and the representation of preferences by the utility function, considering the following questions. Can any two of indifference curves intersect with each other? Two such intersecting curves are representing in this diagram. We wish to know if they violate our basic axiom of rationality. Using our map analogy, there would be seem to be something went wrong at point C, where altitude is equal to two different numbers, u1 and u2. The individual is indifferent between point A and C, and the individual is indifferent between point B and C. Transitivity suggests that individual should be indifferent between A and B. But B is preferred to A because B contains more of X and Y as compared to A. This contradiction shows that indifference curves cannot intersect each other. Therefore, we should always draw indifference curves as they appears in the previous figure. Indifference curves and convexity. As an alternative way of stating the principle of diminishing marginal rate of substitution uses the mathematical notation of a convex set. A set of points is said to be convex if any two points within the sets can be adjoined by a straight line that contained completely within the set. The assumption of a marginal rate of substitution is equivalent to the assumptions that all combination of x and y which are preferred to x star and y star from a convex set. Convexity and balance in consumption. By using the notion of convexity, we can show that individual prefers some balance in their consumption. Suppose that an individual is indifferent between the combination of x and y. If the indifference curve is strictly convex, then the combination of x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by y2 will be preferred to either of the combination of x1, y1 or x2, y2. Intuitively, well-balanced bundles of combination are preferred that heavily weighted towards one commodity. This is illustrated in this diagram. Because indifference curve is assumed to be convex, all points on the straight line joined by the joining x1 and y1 and x2, y2 are preferred to these initial points. This therefore will be true of the point x1 plus x2 by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2 which lies at the midpoint of the such a line. A mathematical derivation of marginal utility. A mathematical derivation provides additional insight about the shape of the indifference curve and the nature of the preferences. In this section, I provide you such a derivation for the case of a utility function involving two goods. This will allow us to compare the mathematics of the two dimensions in difference curve map. The case of many goods will be taken at the end of the section, and this will in turn out the more complicated case really adds very little. If a utility of a person received from two goods is represented by utility is equal to u xy, we can write the total differential of this function as du is equal to partial derivative of u with respect to x and partial derivative of u with respect to y. Along any particular indifference curve, that is du is equal to 0. A very simple manipulation of the previous equation is marginal rate of substitution is equal to minus dy upon dx, keeping the utility constant. Inverse the marginal rate of substitution for x is equal to the ratio of the marginal utility of x, that is partial derivative of u with respect to x, to the marginal utility of y, that is partial derivative of u with respect to y. This result makes intuitive sense. I also highlight that utility is measurable and it normally measures in some units called utils. Now we will examine 4 specific examples of utility functions for 2 goods. Number 1, perfect substitutes. The linear difference curves are generated by a utility function of the form utility is equal to u x and y is equal to alpha x plus beta y, where alpha and beta are the positive constants. That is, the indifference curve for these functions are a straight line and should be radially apparent. At any particular curve can be calculated by u, x and y, which is equal to the constant that given the linear form of the function clearly specific a straight line. The linear nature of these straight lines of indifference curves gave rise to the term perfect substitute to describe the implied relationship between x and y. As the marginal rate of substitution is constant, because alpha upon beta along the entire indifference curves, so our previous notion of the diminishing marginal rate of substitution does not apply in this case. And in this case, a person with these preferences would be willing to give up the same amount of y to get one more of the x, no matter how much x was being consumed. Such situation might describe the relationship between different brands of what is essentially the same product. Number 2, perfect complements. The concept of perfect complements can be formalized by examining the mathematical form of the utility function that generates the L-shaped indifference curve. Here the utility can be measured as utility is equal to u, x and y, that is equal to min alpha x beta y. Here alpha and beta are the positive parameters and the operator min means that the utility is given by the smaller of the two terms in the parenthesis. A situation that directly opposite to the case of a perfect substitute is illustrated by the L-shaped indifference curves. These preferences would apply to goods that go together. For example, coffee and cream, peanut butter and jelly, and cream and cheese, and lots of familiar examples are the different cases of perfect complements. The indifference curve which is shown in this figure imply that the pair of goods will be used in the fixed proportion relationship which is presented by the vertex of the curves. An individual can choose the goods together that can utility be increased. Cobb-Douglas utility. One commonly used utility function that generates familiar shape of an indifference curve is called Cobb-Douglas utility function. Such curve has the following form, where utility is equal to u, x and y is equal to x raised to power alpha and y raised to power beta, where alpha and beta are the positive constants. In general, the relative sizes of alpha and beta indicates the relative importance of two goods to the individual. Since the utility is unique only up to a monotonic transformation, it is often convenient to normalize these alpha plus beta is equal to 1. CES utility, constant elasticity of substitution. The three specific utility functions illustrated so far are special cases of more general constant elasticity of substitution, which takes the form utility is equal to u xy. So it is equal to x raised to power sigma divided by sigma plus y power sigma and divided by sigma, when sigma is not equal to 0, and the case when sigma is equal to 0, the sigma is the constant elasticity of substitution. So when it is 0, utility is equal to u, x and y, so it is equal to ln x plus ln y. It is obvious that the case of perfect substitute corresponds to the limited case when sigma is equal to 1. Cobb-Douglas production function or the Cobb-Douglas case corresponds to sigma is equal to 0. Less obvious is that the case of fixed proportion corresponds to sigma is equal to minus infinity. But the result can be shown using our limiting arguments. The use of the term constant elasticity of substitution for this function derives from the notion that possibilities illustrated in the previous figure, which corresponds to various values for the substitution parameters alpha, for which this function is given by sigma is equal to 1 upon bracket 1 minus alpha. For perfect substitute, sigma is equal to infinity, and the fixed proportion case when sigma is equal to 0. Because the constant elasticity of a substitution function allows us to explore all of these cases and many cases in between. So it will prove quite useful for illustrating the degree of substitutability present in various economic relationships. And now the final summary of the chapter. In this chapter, we have described the way in which economists formalize individual preferences about the goods they choose. We drew several conclusions about such preferences that will play a central role in our analysis of the theory of choice in the following chapter. Number 1. If individuals obey certain basic behavioral postulates in their preferences among goods, they will able to rank all the commodity bundles, and the ranking can be represented by a utility function. It makes choices an individual will behave as they were maximizing this function. Number 2. Utility function for two goods can be illustrated by an indifference curves map. Each indifference curve contours on this map shows all the commodity bundles that yields same level of satisfaction, which we called utility. Number 3, the negative of the slope of indifference curves is called the marginal rate of substitution. This shows that the rate at which an individual would willing to give up the amount of one good, say Y, if he or she were compensated by receiving one more unit of an other good, say Y. Marginal rate of substitution decreases as X is substituted for Y. The individual will prefer some balance in their consumption choice. A few simple functional forms can capture important differences in individual preferences for two or more goods. Here we examine the linear function of perfect substitutes, fixed proportion function, that is perfect complements, Cobb-Douglas utility function, CES function, that is constant elasticity of substitution, which includes the other three special cases. Number 1, the elasticity of substitution, where sigma is equal to 1 upon 1 minus sigma. Perfect substitute with sigma is equal to infinity, and fixed. Number 3, fixed proportions or the complements, where sigma is equal to 0. Thank you very much, my dear students. I hope these in-depth slides of utility and indifference curves will be very productive and useful for your board and university exams. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.